What's up, guys? I've always wanted to do a very chill video, and I shall right now. Gonna move these guys out of the way. You don't need to see what I do. But I've always wanted to do a chill video on my behind-the-scenes work for stop motions. So I'll do that now, because why not? So let's just do a quick good old toast. I found these mugs, they're so cute. But let's get on with the behind-the-scenes stuff. So, I'll be showing you my kind of schedule, and this is mainly for Transformers, because Transformers is somewhat hard to do, and then I'll also show the Marvel side of things. How different are they? So let's get over to the stop motion zone, and take a look at what's going on. The stop motions for Transformers is the floor. I'm not proud of it, but I have to admit, it's easier than anything else. Doing it on the floor just means that I have easy access to Transformers, because they're on the bottom row. And I also can watch stuff on my computer, which is really terrible, and I hate editing on that thing, but I have to. I have split up stuff in 2 days. First day, the even days, stuff like the 12th and the 2nd, are all scheduled to be Autobot days. Days where I only use Autobots. And that really helps me. It incredibly does. That way I'm not really rushing it. But if you're thinking, well, how do I come up with what scenes to do? Don't just go on the fly. That's my number one tip. Don't go on the fly. Write things down, make footnotes, and actually draw out the scenes. You don't have to do it frame by frame, but I would recommend for your first kind of big stop motion, if you're doing a big series or a big finale, do it scene by scene, frame by frame. That's just the easiest. If you're doing something more lenient, some kind of fun stop motion, definitely do it a little more leniently. You can do like one frame, one whole scene sort of drawn out, and have a bunch of footnotes under, and that's easy. I do that a lot of times. I did that with the Incredible Hulk trial, because I wanted to make it just simpler. I wanted to just easily go through it, brush through it all, and that's what I did. I brushed through it so easily. Now, number 2, you assign days, because it's easier with a big stop motion like this and Endgame. Endgame was another one where I planned it all out, to separate it into days. For Endgame, I did it more chronologically. For the ending stop motion, I did the cast for the beginning part, cast for the second part, and then subcast, stuff like that. Stuff like the sort of X-Men grouping, the kind of villain grouping, stuff like that. If you haven't seen the Endgame series, go to the Marvel playlist. It's pretty cool. Every Marvel video is now organized in that, and it's ordered chronologically, so you start from X-Men vs. Avengers and go all the way down, and you get the sweet finale. But you also get the bonus stop motion, and you're gonna get a couple more later. The main thing to do is to not overwork yourself, and spreading them out between days is so much easier than doing it in a simple sitting or doing it over a week. If you plan out for a week to do scenes chronologically, you're kind of effed, because your first days are going to be kind of simple, just not that much, a lot of talking in the beginning, and then fight scenes get more complicated because you're working on them. Best way to do, and especially with Transformers, is to do cast. I did a full day where all I had was Megatron. All the kind of Megatron scenes that you'll see in the film, those scenes all grouped into one. All the scenes with Blitzwing and his Decepticons all grouped into one. And then all the Decepticons in general, talking, scenes, a lot of the kind of scenes that happen in the beginning part of the stop motion, sort of have that. And then you do Autobot days. I did odd days for the Decepticons. There was more Decepticon stuff to shoot that was harder to shoot. So odd days, and then even days, I did all the Autobot stuff. And I started this October 31st. So Started doing Decepticon, and then Decepticon. I need to do double Decepticons, but Decepticon is subgrouped. Megatron counts as a Decepticon day. So all the stuff with Megatron, including private moments, but including moments where he's with Optimus, all private moments. All sort of subsections. And that's really it for them. Now, transformation scenes. Those are the hardest things for me. Because I want to plan it out, but I sort of rush through them. So I like to do a lot faster transformations. Looks like 1 or 2 steps. Sort of, kind of, a little bit like the Michael Bay franchise, where they're definitely, the movies, they definitely hurry a lot more. They go like, where the normal transformations, they go like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Where Michael Bay was like, where everything could be moving at once. And I like to do that more. It just brings more life into it. But one of the fun things to do is Decepticon transformations. Because Decepticons, since they're all jets, you can do them transforming on the ground and then taking off. Or my favorite, which I use a couple times, is them jumping and then transforming and flying. That's why The Last Night is my favorite movie. Because there was that one scene where Megatron's flying in, and he does kind of a turn and transforms, and then lands on the ground, and I'm like, oh my god, that is the most amazing scene ever made for Transformers. That was amazing. That was honestly my favorite scene. I loved it. But Transformers, let's move into the form, because I'm definitely about to spoil some Transformers stuff. So let's move on to Avengers and Marvel / Star Wars stop motions. So Marvel stop motions. I do them on my desk, but I'll keep this set up because it's just so much easier. I do them on my desk, and I really do like doing them on my desk because it's so much smaller and confined to a point where it's just easy to do them. But most Marvel stop motions, you're going to need more than one character. So definitely breaking up cast is probably the easiest thing. Now, then again, this is really easy for me to say because I was a short film director with a couple of my friends, so I'm definitely used to doing cast days. I helped basically run the play in my high school for 1 year, and so I had to say, like, which cast should be with which. But usually, with stop motions, it's easy enough to just sort of take characters that you like to a Captain America day, where you finish all the Captain America scenes. But it is definitely easier to do them chronologically. You don't have to worry about transformations. You don't have to worry about, some fight scenes are definitely easier to do, because they definitely lend themselves more to stands. Where Transformers, they're so blocky that it is kind of hard to get a stand clipped to them. But Marvel stop motions and Star Wars stop motions, a little bit different. They all just take me a day to do. Star Wars stop motions, I use such a small cast that it just is so easy to do in one day. And then edit the next day. But with Marvel stop motions, I usually write this full script out. With Transformers stop motions, I let the dialogue kind of find itself more. Usually, I don't plan out every line. With Marvel, I have every line written down in my notebook. And I'm working on a X-Men stop motion right now, which will come out, I don't know, maybe January, if I'm lucky. But that one, in it, all the dialogue is written out, so all I had to do was just block that dialogue into scenes, and then I just record those scenes. And it is really easy to do Marvel stop motions. They do lend themselves a lot to stop motions. Transformers, it's definitely a little harder. It's not impossible. Definitely not impossible. If you want to do Transformers stop motions, you're just starting, trust me, it's not impossible. I've done a full season, and I'm just finishing my second season. and I'm probably gonna start a third because I love them. They're definitely once you learn how to do them, you can do them in a day. Um, I'm ashamed to admit it, but the original season was all shot in days. None of it was over a month. Right now, I lend myself to 3 weeks for a stop motion to be kind of finished. Um, then again, I started all these stop motions that will be coming out for all of December in August, and I just kind of worked on them a little bit, and just boom, able to make them more apparent. And that's awesome. DC stop motions are very much the same. Star Wars are easiest for me to do. I've done them all in one day, and I only have two, because I don't like doing them in a day. But I can do them in a day because it's kind of easy-ish to do. Because one, the story, I am not making a full-on overarching story, but I am making a story for Star Wars. That will sort of lead into my sort of New Hope series. But really, that stuff isn't too. I care about the story. I care about it, but not as much as with Marvel in Transformers, because Transformers I grew up with. I have such fond memories of them. Marvel, on the other hand, I love them, but the thing is, Marvel, since there's so many movies about Marvel right now. Literally, I think tomorrow we're getting a trailer for Black Widow. I think maybe in the next couple days, but since Marvel has so much stuff coming, it's so easy to do stop motions. But then again, it's really hard because if you want to make custom ones, like sort of stories like the Trial of the Incredible Hulk, and you don't want to kill off Iron Man, then you have to find a way to creatively put him in other movies. It's kind of hard. Definitely very hard. But I am definitely not trying to deter you or anything. I'm just trying to help you guys with how to do them a little easier. This just makes sense more to me than anyone probably else thinks. And also organization. I use these things. I put effects, weapons, heads, hands, no feet in there. But I put all that kind of accessory stuff in there. That way I have them on short notice. And if you're if you definitely have, like, if you don't have, like, full shelves full of figures, keep a box and say on it, like, Marvel figures, Star Wars figures, stop motion figures. But definitely before you start a stop motion, write down all the figures and characters you need. And that's all you need. That's all you gotta do. Definitely, if you're doing Transformers, what I recommend is watching some of the movie transformations and the original cartoon series transformations. Look up, like, G1 transformations, Michael Bay transformations, and watch them. They helped me come up with ways to transform these figures. And definitely do it your own way. If you like to do slower transformations, or if you like to do incredibly fast transformations, almost like one steps, like me, sort of. I like to do 2 to 3 steps. That is the max. Sometimes if it's a really big guy, 5. If it's like a really pivotal moment, like the Optimus one, then it's definitely like, yeah, I'll slow it down. But usually I like to just do a couple frames of it. Well, mainly steps, breaking it into steps. Like, have his arms move and then have his legs and arms move at the same time, but have them do only one thing for it. That's all I really got to say. Thank you again for watching this long video. I wanted to do a more laid-back video since the last 2 videos were very pre-made. In this one, I just kind of want to lay down and explain to you my stuff with stop motions. That's all I got to say. Thank you again for watching. I've been Rodimus 2099. See you in the next video. Goodbye.